Indeed. Indeed.
All right, well, let's dive in.
All right.
So, really, one thing I'm going to give you guys is I'm going to frame this a little bit for you so that you can see why I'm saying what I'm saying. And most of you already know this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Essentially from 2018, when the stock market pumped that summer, things in housing has been really, really, really good. Okay. Some of the biggest influencers in social media have been promoting real estate. Everyone, people haven't really been paying attention to that, but I mean, there are some of the top players in the social media influencer space. They're pushing flips. They're pushing multifamily. They're pushing creative financing. They're pushing land has become a huge thing that they're pushing. So there's all of these groups and these influencers pushing real estate. So basically, since the summer of 2018, when the stock market pumped, things have just been awesome up until, as just very recently. But I want to talk about that phase real quick, because what we're dealing with right now, a lot of it is because of that phase from 2018 to 2021. And what I mean by that is, with all of these influencers moving into the space, there was a lot of people who quit their jobs, making good money, like 7-figure jobs, to go into the fix and flip space. There were people who quit their tech jobs to go into the creative financing, multifamily space. Grant Cardone's tribe has grown to tons and tons of people, right? His events he sells them out. And his events are primarily, he's a real estate guy. So he's packing this house of people who are drilling over the opportunity in real estate. So my point of all of it is, not only from 2018 to 2021 did we see arguably the best years in housing ever, but from a social media internet standpoint, we saw influencers, we saw regular people going into the space, making great money, right? All of a sudden you go to the gym and there's this punk ass kid who's driving a Lamborghini because he's flipping, he's successfully flipping houses. So my point of all of this is, there was this whole thing going on, and a lot of people weren't really paying attention to that movement, and then on top of that, we had the short-term rental movement, right? So we got the whole Airbnb thing just exploding. So during these 4 years, people were outpacing, not only were they making money in the stock market, but they were outpacing that crazy amount of money in real estate as well. So this whole crank and pump happened. When that happens in an industry, just so you all know, there's a bunch of tech companies and just companies in general who will come into your space. And they are there because you guys are making a ton of money. And so they will create things to help you, right? So we'll have all of these companies come in to improve your sales presentations, to improve your repeat customers, to engage with your past clients and reactivate them, to increase referrals. All of these companies coming in. Not to mention the social media push, right? So now everybody wants to help you with your social media and charge you for that. The problem is, all of this was going on, and the mortgage industry was getting better and better and better and better. They were making your jobs easier. They were making you guys more efficient, which was great. That's like one of the best things that you can have happen for your industry is have it pop off like that, because you get the attention of everyone, especially through the pandemic. I know you guys, you're aware of this, but I own a lot of businesses that were affected by the pandemic in a big way. So when that happened, a lot of companies out there and a lot of people with money were looking for, okay, where is the money going? Well, it was going to mortgage. And so that's a great thing. It's a great thing for your industry because everything improves and you get the attention of some of the biggest players and the heaviest hitters. One last thing that happened too was a bunch of people quit their jobs to come into the mortgage space. And I'm talking about good people, right? People who were making a ton of money selling cars, people who were running their own, we had chiropractors coming into mortgage. So there's a lot of people who saw the money and the profit margins, and then they came into the space. Well, these are smart people and they made a lot of money and they don't want to leave. So yes, I agree. Right now, we will have people the people who shouldn't have been in the industry will leave. And then the people who, there's a lot of people who are in the industry who are going to stay. And we're going to see that happen. So this whole recipe, why do I tell you about this? Because the industry is getting a ton of attention right now, and it's got a lot of big players. And this creates a competitive environment, an extremely competitive environment, to the point where average isn't going to be good enough anymore. And then you take the rates doing what they've been doing, and you create a more competitive environment from a supply standpoint, and you have an extra competitive environment. So my point of all of this backstory is just to frame for all of you the situation that we find ourselves in. And it is not a bad situation by any means. Like I said, this is a dream come true to have a bunch of tech companies coming in and trying to improve your guys' life, make you more efficient. It's great that we had a huge influx of people coming into this industry. It really is. These are all great things. Because ultimately it will help you guys survive, because ultimately we can't forget about this whole fintech thing, a bunch of companies trying to basically come in and take the opportunity from you. So it is a good thing. You should be happy about this. It's a positive thing. The problem is it's extremely competitive now, and it's harder to stand out than ever before. And the things that worked aren't working anymore. They worked back in the day because they were rare, and they're not rare anymore, so they don't work. Does everybody understand that? So when someone's going to choose a professional, when someone's going to choose someone who they're going to refer to, the people who are doing hard and rare things, extraordinary things, are the ones that win. Those are the ones that get people's attention. Okay, that's where the referrals go. That's where the other loan officers want to go as well. The challenge is now it's becoming more difficult to be rare because all of these things have become normalized, right? Every single person has a nice camera. Everyone has nice lighting. Everyone has nice microphones. These are in every single person's hand, and everyone knows it, right? So your borrower and your referral partners know that they can buy these cameras and microphones on Amazon and be at your door in 2 days. They know that you can go on Fiverr and pay a person in Bangladesh or Indonesia to edit your reels. So again, in the beginning when this was rare, you got a lot of credit for it because you looked special. You looked like somebody that had it all figured out. Well, now even the loan officer who's closing one loan a year has an amazing studio, right, with his company on his back behind him and neon lights with these fancy wallpaper and all. That's the new standard, and it's not hard. And so the second that things become not difficult, you don't gain credibility for those. Does everyone understand that? So same goes for your presentations. If you're saying, hey, I have HomeBot and it does this, or I have this video software and we can do that, you have to understand after this big boom from 2018 to 2021, everybody had a ton of cash to inject into their business. And now 2022, everyone had the free time to implement all of these things. So that whole recipe has created one of the noisiest and I would say the highest caliber of loan officer we've ever seen. And then we extrapolate that to what it's like to be one of your referral partners. You're getting bombarded all the time with this opportunity and this happy hour and this class. And my gosh, these poor real estate agents, they're probably podcasting on loan officers' podcasts more than they are selling homes right now, because every loan officer's got a podcast. And my point of all of this is, if you can swipe a credit card, it's not rare. So if all it takes is money, that thing is not rare. So don't expect it to help you stand out. Does everyone understand that? If you can buy it on Amazon, if you can swipe a credit card, if you can give some sort of vendor this thing to help you, it no longer is unique anymore. You don't get credit for it anymore, and you don't look exceptional. Does everyone understand that? Case in point, there was a bunch of people who popped off and got a bajillion followers. Now everybody else who's doing what those people are doing aren't popping off and aren't getting the followers, because the second that's been done, it's not rare anymore and it no longer works. You don't get credit for it. You're not exceptional. You're not smart. You're just the person who did it third, fourth, fifth. You're the 1,000th person to do it. And the more and more noisy this world gets, the bigger those numbers get. So the more people who are making short form reels, that's one more loan officer making short form content. And it gets exhausting and it loses its value. So the question is, and the whole topic of this webinar is the last personal brand. And I call it the last personal brand because I believe that we've gotten to a place in the market where we can't get any better. I mean, it's the technology is just, we're no longer impressed anymore by these improvements in technology. It's all been done now. It's just not impressive. People aren't, when they see a new feature on Instagram or a new gadget, we're no longer impressed by that anymore because we expect new gadgets to come out. We expect new videos to come out, new Instagram features, new filters, things like that. We've grown to expect it. So what is rare? I mean, that's the question. That's why all of you are here today. If who's rare gets chosen, then what's rare? And you're going to be surprised by this answer because it's actually been practiced for a really, really, really long time. It's been practiced by the greats in every industry, in and out of mortgage. And it still works. And the sad thing is that it's rare, and it doesn't need to be rare. It's incredibly accessible for every single person who takes advantage of it. And for those of you who know my background, the reason I was able to tap into this and really figure it out and then ultimately create a coaching program that teaches other loan officers how to do it. I went to my first conference when I was 16. And the interesting thing about an experience like that when you're 16 years old is you don't have a business of your own. And so when you're there, you're just observing the other people who have businesses. And that's a really neat experience because what I was able to see was the people who were thriving and the people who weren't. And to me, my definition of thriving has less to do with money. To me, thriving are the ones who are doing it effortlessly. So effortlessly thriving. So the ones who have found a way to be themselves, do the things that they love to do, talk about the things that they love talking about, and then they're chosen because of the person that they are. It takes them zero effort because they're already that way. So they're just showing up as themselves, doing the things that they love to do, and then they get paid. And you guys know who I'm talking about, right? The Ryan Grants of the world, the Shayla Giffords, the Kelly Zitlows, Sean Herreros. They're just so incredibly awesome that they win. And they win every single time, not because they have better rates and better products. They win because people like them are rare. And I'm not talking about the money that they make. I'm talking about their effortless ability to get referrals. It's rare. It doesn't happen very often. They are rare people. But here's the thing. It's not the money that made them this way. It was becoming this way that made them the money. I'll say that one more time, and everybody should write that down. It wasn't the money that made them this way. It was becoming this person that made them the crazy amounts of money. And it's rare. So people like them, every single person knows that their teams love working for them. It's written all over their team's faces. They're posting about it all over online. They are fun leaders to work for. Everybody knows it, right? Their referral partners are happy and lucky to be their referral partners because they're cared for, they're connected, right? They're always hosting these events for them. Their relationship with their referral partners far exceeds the average person who's looking at their referral partners as a transaction source, or some of the really horrible things that people say about their referral partners. It's like, if that's the way you feel about them, don't you think that's kind of obvious, right? And so these people get referrals because they're making an impact in a way that's rare. They're doing rare things. So what do I mean by that? I mean, they are creating things that you can't buy with a credit card. So they're coaching their high school football team, which is extremely time consuming, but they love it. And they love being that resource to the young men. Or they are spending their time creating helping someone else support a business that's really important to them, but that person doesn't have any business knowledge. And so you partnered with them because you know more about connecting them to the people that they need to, and you're really involved in that. it's these difficult things, right? It's the time, it's the attention. Those are the rare things in this world. We live in a world where there's no shortage of technology. There's no shortage of Instagram videos. There's no shortage of any of these things. And so when you put them out into the world, you're not feeding something that's scarce, you're feeding something that's abundant. And you'll end up looking like a loan officer. And loan officers get loan officer results. So if you're just a loan officer, you have to understand you're if that's your brand, if that's how you're positioning yourselves in the market, you have to understand you're competing with whatever 800,000 other people in the country, or 14,000 other people in your immediate area. So what I'm saying is, rather than showing up and branding yourself as a loan officer, show up as a person, somebody that they want to do business with, somebody that they want to refer business to, somebody that they want to know. You see, the people at the top, and I want you to all envision the people at the top that you admire the most. The people at the top are chosen because people want more people like them to exist. It's how we choose who we follow. It's how we choose who we admire. It's how we choose who we want to exceed. They want those people to succeed because they want more people like that to exist. They want their sons and daughters to be more like that person. And I know it's hard for me sometimes to convince people of this because it is so subconscious. But I want you all to think about it. This is how we make decisions. This is who we decide to follow. This is who we decide to partner with. This is who we decide we work for. Right? This is who we buy from. We buy from the people who we believe are the most impressive individuals. The ones that we think if there was 1,000 more people like this, the world would be a better place. That's how it works. It's how it works. It's how it's always worked. If you think of every single massive thought leader or influential person way back, even pre-influencers, if we think of the most influential people in the world, they're all impressive individuals. That's why we follow them. That's why we still talk about them, because they're doing hard and difficult things. They're doing scary things. They're doing the things that nobody else is doing. So when you're thinking about your personal brand, the reason I call it the last personal brand, I call it an effortless personal brand. And the reason I use those words is we're not talking about font colors and logos and videos about buy downs and the Fed. I'm not talking about that, because that's not rare, and no one asked you to solve that problem for them. That's not what's keeping them up at night. That's not why they're on social. They are not on social media to see a video about the Fed. They're on social media because they're on social media. So you have to understand, if you're going to brand yourself, they're on social media because they are interested in voyeurism. I mean, that's like literally that's the whole philosophy of social media, is people like to watch the lives of other people. They like to feel connected. It's our tribal nature of us. And so when they're on social media, you have to understand the psychology of the people who are consuming the social media. And they don't want to see a video about a buy down or the Fed or how to get rich in 4 days or how to save $50,000 on taxes. Because when you make videos like that, you attract people who watch videos like that. And so if you post a video that says how the rich get rich, rich people don't watch that video. Poor people watch that video. And so you're going to gain poor people who are going to follow you. And then the algorithm is going to say poor people like this person. So they're going to show your content to more poor people, and you're going to get more poor people to follow you. And next thing you know, your entire Instagram following is full of people from Indonesia and Taiwan and wherever else they live, because they want to get rich quick. So when you're advertising to people, you need to be mindful about what social media is and why people are there. And every single one of you on this call, you are probably your own ideal client, right? You're trying to find somebody who's smart, who's educated, who cares about their credit score, who's trying to build wealth in their future, who has a plan for their life. What content do you watch? Who do you follow? When you choose a dentist or a lawyer or your realtor, what's your psychology behind making that decision? I bet you it's not, oh, this person makes a bunch of videos about problems that have already been solved before. I bet you make that decision based off of, I just like this person. I don't know why I like them. I just like them. And if you think about the most influential loan officers, They're donating a ton of their time and their attention to make this world better. That's what they're doing. They're making it easier for other loan officers to become successful. They're making it easier for their referral partners to become successful. They're making it easier to buy whatever, Dan Keller and his wife, half of Dan Keller's posts are about his wife's cookies. You see, people admire those who are doing impressive things, who are doing rare things, who are actually putting themselves out there. So the last personal brand, the effortless personal brand that I'm talking about is you. It's you doing interesting things where people can actually see who you are and why they should care about you. Because then you're not competing. That's how you cut the competition is the exhausting part about this industry. The people at the top aren't exhausted. They don't have to compete. I call it an effortless personal brand because they make money without trying. It's easier for them. Now, I'm not saying they don't work. They do. They work plenty. But it's easier for them because they don't have to go out and hustle for deals. Their referral partners admire them. When they call, they answer the phone. They could be at a lunch with another loan officer. And they'll say, hey, excuse me, I got to take this. And they'll take that other loan officer's call because they position themselves in a way that that's how you do. That's how you treat this person. And I'm right about this. I'm not wrong. This is the way of the future. So when we're thinking about trying to be more, trying to do what's rare, we need to become less of a loan officer and more of an impressive individual. I firmly believe this. People are going to choose the loan officers who they believe are leaving the most impressive legacy. That's how they're going to shop. So when they're comparing two loan officers side by side, they're going to choose the loan officer who's leaving the most impressive legacy. The one who's actually making the world better. Again, our psychology is, whether you say this or not, your subconscious says, I want my son or daughter to grow up like that. I want them to be self-confident. I want them to I don't want them to never worry about making money. I don't want them to have to do uncomfortable things that they don't want to do. I want them to just be themselves and make money doing that. And so we admire those persons. We refer our family members to those people. We refer other people who do what we do to those people. Those are the ones that get our attention. And I so strongly believe in this. I really do, guys. I believe so strongly that this is the way of the future. These are going to be the way. In a competitive world, if you're going to compete as a loan officer, you need to understand you're competing with a lot of other people. I'm just saying, don't compete. Stop competing. Because when you are leaving a personal brand that reflects your legacy, who you are as an individual, you don't have to compete anymore. You already stand out. It's clear to them. I support someone like that. And the industry elites in mortgage are going to kill me for saying this because I'm letting the secret out. A lot of my clients in my coaching program are like, Roland, why you got to tell everybody our secret? Because I want a world where we don't have loan officers. We just have really awesome people who are creating change. And then they're making money off of it. And I'm not saying that just because you're going to get rich, because you will. I'm saying it because it's a more fulfilling way to work. The successful people in this industry are successful because other people want them to be. So, Q&A time. Questions, what's up? I do not want this is not supposed to be motivational. This is not I am not a motivational speaker. I am not talking, none of what I said is motivation. This is real talk. This is how the elites got to be elite. This is why they make money effortlessly. There's nothing inspirational about this. These are facts.
I didn't hire you for inspiration. Good thing.
So yes, but there's a lot, but in the end, I don't want this to be just something that's still for the industry elites. I'm saying this is for you too. So please, implementation questions. You could ask questions about I run a coaching business full of top producers who are doing this. So I have a lot of experience with different things that they have done, different things that they have created. So
I'll start it off to help everyone out.
Yeah, please.
Because I have a page of notes, which I always do because I always get pearls of wisdoms. And you know, what's nice is you kind of you're changing the game. That's why I love having you on, Roland. In our industry, it's easy to see what others are doing. Oh, I got to do social media. Oh, I got to do videos. I got to do this. I got to do that. But you are absolutely correct, because now everybody has that in general. It's not unique. It doesn't differentiate yourself. And does that really answer their concerns? Is it something that's important to them? I mean, they may not understand or care about a buy down or what the Fed's doing or anything else. So you do have to get out there and answer, maybe what questions are out there in general. But the question I have for you is you mention all the time, you have to be rare. And I know the people you're mentioning that have dedicated themselves to being rare and giving value back, such as the Kellys and the Ryans, and we can go on and on, Todd Duggins. We go, oh, they're rare because they always give more than what is expected of them. And people gravitate to them, as I do and as you do, because they give more. Renee's. I mean, you can go on and on with these great people. So what can they do to try to not get stuck in that trap? Because it's so easy. I have dozens of loan officers that work with me on our team, mine and Gino's team. And we have to watch and be careful and try to guide them. Like right now, literally in the next room, I'm not kidding, we're doing I'll say a mastermind session with 50 agents to help them with scripting and how to handle the market right now. Not telling them what the interest rate is. It's what happens when the buyer or seller is scared because of where the market's at, because of interest rates, because of inflation, whatever it is. How do you combat that? How do you handle objections? So I guess my point is what should they be doing to help become more rare and not compete with the other 800,000?
So, and I love that question, because that's the hang up, is everyone is trying to, there's been this huge like adding value thing, like, and I love Gary Vee for starting that huge movement of making value adders instead of whatever else was out there, basically advertisings. The problem is adding value is not rare anymore, guys. There's so much value now, like literally every week for the last 55 years. An amazing business book has been written by one of the best business minds in the world. Every week, that's how many, literally, we're talking about thousands of
and they're good too.
Best. Oh, they're so good. And I can't even keep up with them.
I listen to one almost a week myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd have to like read them. You'd have to read 10 a week to even keep up. Yeah. So my point is value even isn't rare anymore. It was pre like 1960. But now with all of these platforms, I mean, there's podcasts for days. We got YouTube for days. We got social media. So adding value is not rare anymore, which I know is going to offend a ton of you, because all you guys are like, well, I've been adding, it's my whole thing has been adding value. Well, I'm sorry, it's not rare. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just not rare anymore. And so when we're thinking about, now I'm not saying stop adding value, stop helping. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when we're thinking about what is scarce, that's what we need to speak to. So what is scarce? Well, helping realtors generate leads, that's not scarce. Everyone's doing that right now. Okay. So I'm not saying that they won't attend your class. They might actually come to your class because they got nothing else to do right now. They got no houses to sell. I'm just saying, will they become a referral partner? Did you truly do anything rare? Because just because they came to your class doesn't mean they're going to start using you.
100%.
So to me, to answer your question, that there's a difference between adding value and being a rare person that people want more of you to exist in this world. Two entirely different things. So to me, if I was to kind of guide people down a road for this, to start thinking about what this is that you could do, think about you and your own passions, your own problems that get your attention, the things that you're passionate about. Even if somebody doesn't exist, if they don't agree with your problems, they will still rally around helping it. Like Bill Gates right now, his big thing is coming up with waterless toilets. The people who he's talking to all have toilets with water in their own home. Some of them have 6 toilets in their own home. But those people with 6 toilets are still interested in helping him solve that problem because it's really interesting. Because Bill says, hey, if people stopped you using the bathroom outside, their water would be clean. So then we wouldn't even have to clean their water anymore because so see what I'm saying? You have to, it's this solving an interesting problem that gets people's attention. And it doesn't have to be related to mortgage, you guys. Just choose the problem that's interesting to solve for you. Rene Rodriguez isn't telling you guys how to solve mortgage problems. He's teaching you guys how to create a bigger influence. Right? Neil Dingra is not teaching you how to solve mortgage problems. He's teaching you how to go viral with a post online, right? What captures people's attention on social media, right? So again, stay in an area that really, really excites you. That's really ultimately all anybody wants for you. They want you to actually be yourself and stop doing things because everybody else is telling you to do them. And that's what these, realtor classes and YouTube videos and everything are turning into is, were you born to do this? Do you love doing this? Or are you just doing it to get business? Then that's the problem, is if that's the motive behind it, it's not that hard to see that anymore.
Yeah, like Gino, I can attest, and we'll go to some of the questions. Just, we're going to go to your questions. It's good shit that you guys are connecting. But I know it's funny, Sonia can attest to this because we see it all the time. Gino gets probably 100 times more hits and people paying attention when he posts the food he's cooking or the food he's eating, because that's a passion of his, and he shares that, and he gets tons of people engaging. Now he can post about, hey, just ask me about the program of the month, or here's what rates are doing. He'll get like 10 hits, like,
I always tell
probably his friends just liking him to like him.
Listen, they know you're a loan officer. That's not the issue. They know you're a loan officer. So you don't have to keep telling them all the time, right? Make sure that it's obvious, right? So you guys need, if your link and your website isn't dialed, I mean, if it's not very, very clear from the moment somebody comes into your world what you do, then y'all need to fix that. But at the same time, at the end of it, once you've made that clear that you solve these mortgage related problems, you don't have to keep doing that anymore. It just gets boring and overplayed.
All right, let's go to some questions. Sonia, who was first?
Douglas. I gave him permission to talk and invited him to.
All right, Douglas, why don't you unmute yourself and ask your question, buddy? And thanks for being part of Momentum Builder and Roland.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Well, this is really good, and it's a lot what I believe in. I'm 68 years old, and this kind of harkens back to what life used to be like for salespeople. Just try and be different, try and be unique. But I think the problem becomes, for people like me, we kind of end up doing what we like doing, which is working, which is boring for everybody else. Most people don't like to work. And I work 7 days a week because at my age, that's really what I want to do. I've fished, I've hunted, I've done everything else, So how do you connect with people when you're something like that?
Oh man, I love that question. And you already said it. And I'm going to post a link here for everybody so they can see. So this is just a link, the Momentum Builder specific link to my program, because it relates to how I'm going to answer Douglas's question here. Doug, what you just said is what they want to see. So I always tell everybody this, it's interesting. People need to become more interested in themselves, because you're actually really interesting. Like, I don't even know you, Douglas, but I am interested in what you have done and why it is that you want to work right now. That's interesting to me. Now I know, because like you, I've done everything, and my wife and I are chilling in Hawaii right now, and we're actually building a house so we can stop traveling because we're sick of being on vacation all the time. So I know what you mean. It does get to a point where you don't want to do it anymore. And it was, grass is always greener, and we always want what we can't have. Well, now that I have all of it, I don't want it anymore. And so
violence stayed in the case.
But that conclusion, Douglas, that's the type of stuff that draws people to you. They're interested in how you have gotten to this point. And so again, when we're talking about the content that's the most interesting to consume, the one that connects us to people, that's what's interesting, is how have you gotten to this point? What do you know that I don't know? And it's purely that. So you can do that via a written email. You can do that via you can do that through social media. You can do it however you want, but ultimately people need to see it. And so that's why I always tell my clients who are the biggest producers in my program, none of them, I shouldn't say none of them, almost none of them post on social media at all. They have other avenues that they use to share what they know and share their story with other people. So that's what I would say is you've gotten to this point, Douglas, tell people about it because it is interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that is, I try to do that. And I do that because I do a lot of open houses. I love to meet with people on the weekends. This is why I'm working 7 days a week, because I'm out there meeting with realtors and trying to meet with customers. And they are interested. And I am surprised that people are interested in what I have to say, but scaling that up seems to be difficult. You know what I mean?
It is absolutely difficult. I mean, so if it was easy, I wouldn't have a job. Nobody would be in my coaching program. I mean, the reason people come in is they want to, exactly what you said. They want to they want to be influential. They want to be connected. They want to be seen as a go-to resource. You have to position yourself like that. And in this world, like Douglas, you said something that I believe really strongly in. We're going back to like the 1950s. That's where we're going. We're so many, all of the stuff has been played out to the point where it's not rare anymore. And so we're like going back to the 1950s where nice guys don't finish last, nice guys finish first.
Yeah, I come from a family of salespeople. I was in commercial sales for a long time. And it was always about, we always used to have a saying within our family, when the world zigs, you zag. That was kind of there's my secret that I'm telling the world about. Yeah. That is kind of the way we used to. And I am in a family of very successful people. I was myself for a while as well, but I do like the mortgage business. It's very good for someone like me.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So let's see who's next.
We've got Jimmy Ryan. I promoted him. He should be able to talk, get on video.
Jimmy, what's the question, brother?
All right. Well,
Jimmy, we're seeing a weird screenshot. I think your webcam is off.
I know. I'm. It's my. It's my Canon M50 having to be reset. It times out after a minute. Which, by the way, I'm
nice jacket.
I'm not going to sell out or anything here. But anyway, so okay, Roland, I come across a lot of people that, and Harry, you do too. People want what you have, and like you're so happy, content, fulfilled, and people want that. So if they don't have that, they kind of come to you for that. So for me, a lot of people are like, Jimmy, you're killing it with the podcast. You're doing like I want to do exactly what you're doing, but like they really haven't even started yet. Like my first videos were in 2012 about seller paid closing cost and like how people are doing today. Look at this 2-1 buy down. It's the coolest thing. Oh, by the way, did you know that the FHA dropped 30 basis points and I'm friends with mostly loan officers. So like you get the same thing. Like, of course, that because legit every single person has said that. The question really is if you're not starting though, would you recommend somebody to actually to get practice on the seller pay closing cost, to get practice on like the little things like that before they go like, this is me, I am Roland, this is Jimmy, this is who the heck I am? What would you say goes first?
So I would actually say no. And here's why. I believe most high achievers and people who are actually have like some of the best stuff to say are the people not posting right now. And you know why they're not posting? Because they know that the stuff that they're recording is shit. No, for real. That's why they don't want to post. And they don't suck. Right? Like literally, like Don, this, you hang out in these the reason a lot of the people at the very, very top do not post is because they know that the stuff they record it. It's not like they don't. Like Don, I know you don't act like you haven't recorded some content. They try, but then when they look at the video, they're like, this isn't it. This doesn't make me look unique. And so they're reluctant to do it because they're like, well, this is just really, really average. So I hear what you're saying of getting the reps in. And there is value to that. However, I believe a lot of people don't post because the stuff that they're about to post makes them look really, really average, and it's not interesting. And they know that video would be harmful to their brand because it would make them look like just a average whatever person, and they don't want to look that way. So then they don't post. And so I hear what you're saying. I think here's the qualifier I would put on that. If you're scared to post, and then, yes, okay, getting over that fear of posting, okay, then maybe that would, but honestly, I think the people at the top aren't scared of posting. They think they're scared of posting. I think they're scared of posting crappy content, and the content they keep recording sucks because it's very, very average. And they're like, well, I don't want to post this. And so to me, it's like this vicious cycle they get stuck into because all their content's really, really weak and average. And then they don't want to post it because it's bad for their brand. And here's what I'm saying. They're right. It is bad for your brand. It is more noise. So you shouldn't post. Donna,
I have a quick comment on that. And Roland,
Yep.
You can give me your input. And Jimmy, you're great at what you post because you're asking real value questions. But what I have found, and if you go back to DG Media Inc., no one will have more content than me, probably, other than maybe Jimmy. I mean, we did everything from food adventures to real estate, whatever. And what I found is, that's good. It helped us get to know a lot of good people and stuff and add some real value. But on the other side, I've learned, if you notice, I've kind of completely backed down on a lot of my work posting or my knowledge posting because I found out nobody cares. Honestly, really don't. So now if I'm posting or doing something, it's more direct. It's to somebody I know would care about what I'm talking about versus just randomly sending it to all my friends that are going, enough, Don. I don't give a shit about that. You're my friend. So now when I post we're racing motocross or going on a trip with my wife or doing something else, they're interested again. So I like I said, I worked really hard to do all that stuff, and God knows we're in front of a lot of people, but I've learned that nobody really gives a shit. So I'm not going to waste my time doing it. And that's my opinion.
And they care a lot less now. And I think as high achievers, we know this. And so I think it's becoming more and more, instead of becoming easier to post, I think it's becoming more difficult to post because there's just so much trash out there and we don't want to contribute to the trash. And good for you for not contributing it to it. My message is let's just understand that stuff is, by the way, these people who are posting online, they're not getting, I hate saying this because it's going to really piss a lot of people off, but they're not getting, those people who are posting those short form videos, they're not getting loans from that. I coach these people, so they're my program and they aren't getting loans from that. So hate to say the thing that nobody wants me to hear because they've all been geeking out on reels and followers and stuff. But the fact of the matter is people don't make large financial decisions based off of a viral reel. They might see that reel and call their LO that they trust and say, hey, what's this buy down thing? So you may be advertising for a trusted loan officer that they like, if that makes sense. What else?
So we had two other good stuff, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And you always have great stuff, and I want to make sure we also get to Dennis.
Yeah, I got 10
Rodney
minutes.
had a good question as well.
Lay him on me.
So Dennis, you want to unmute and ask your question?
Hey, Roland. You got me? There we go.
Yo, Dennis, what's up, bro?
Hey, how are you? So I've heard you say before that you are what people say about you when you're not in the room. So as you're building your personal brand, how do you gauge kind of what the word is on the street as you're out doing your thing?
Yeah, so I have that. I ask everybody to answer this, and it's crazy how few loan officers actually can answer this clearly. What do you want your referral partners to think about you? Really? I mean, that is if that's from a branding standpoint. I mean, isn't that what branding is all about, right? I mean, what do they think about you? Think about it. How awkward would it be if Nike was talking about how many miles you could get on their shoes? Oh, this is so great. This shoe will last you 14 years. They don't even waste the airtime on TV with garbage like that, because that's not why people buy shoes. And it's not why people choose to who they refer to either. I still have a business right now where we refer to people, and I have never once referred to them because of what they have done for me. I send them a referral because I know they will treat my client with the utmost respect and that they're going to get the same quality of service that we give them. They've never flown me to Hawaii or bought me cookies. That's not why I send business to them. We actually don't even have the same we're totally different people. I sometimes I wonder, there's no friendship there. I just send to them because I know it's the best possible person. And she's a beautiful person. She's like, she started like 2 churches in our area. She's just I know that referral could never be mishandled. That's why we send our business to her. Okay. And that's just the way that it is. So I love that question. You're absolutely spot on. Ask yourself that though. Have you documented on paper, what is it that you want your referral partners to think about you? And then your entire personal brand should facilitate that. Every post. That's what I do for you guys. My clients are top producing loan officers. So for those of you who aren't following me, follow me online, watch what I do. I am constantly making myself available in the capacity that you guys need me. You're not going to see me telling me what I want to tell you. You're going to see me telling you things that are actually going to help. My social media account's for you, not me.
Love
Awesome.
it. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, Mark is up next. And thanks, Doug and Dennis. Good stuff, buddies.
Yeah, thank you.
Love the interaction. That's what this is all going to be about, and help each other. Mark, you want to unmute yourself? There you
Yeah,
go.
I appreciate you guys sharing all this. It's been money. This year 2 for me as an LO. My question for you guys is, how would you recommend someone new build a brand that's not around education necessarily? Because as you guys mentioned, that can get boring, right?
So nobody wants to learn anything. That was one of my earliest coaches. That was one of the best pieces of advice he gave me, because when I first met him, I'd never had a coach before. And I was talking about all the thing I was going to do. And he goes, what's this obsession with trying to teach everybody? He's like, man, like the second that we got out of, high school or college, none of us wanted to learn ever again. And so, there's this obsession with trying to teach everybody something. And there's a lot of assumptions there. You're assuming that they want to learn from you. You're assuming that they want to learn what you're talking about. And so here you are creating this class or course or content, making a ton of assumptions about what your people want, which is bad. I mean, that's bad marketing. So what I would say is keep it simple. Stick with exactly what I said. What do I want my referral partners to think about me? And then build that content, build that website, send out those emails. Use your CRM to amplify that, right? People are, the people at the top got social media content, built their brand, got their CRM, bought the technology, started making social media reels to help get their brand out into the marketplace. But they didn't do any of that nonsense until they were clear on what that brand needed to be. Then they used that to get the brand out. Well, loan officers aren't doing that. They're like buying all that stuff and then creating content without a brand. And so I always tell everybody, think about the person that you want to brand, not the stuff. Those are just vehicles. No one should be posting any content in here until you are clear what it is that you want people to think about you. And until you're clear on that, I forbid you from posting, because you're probably just destroying your brand and making a bunch of noise. And if you're not careful, these people might not read your content ever again, because for the years and years and years, you branded yourself as somebody who is boring.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that definitely helps a lot, because I'm making reels right now, right, about education. And like Don said, no one actually gives a shit, right? So I think, I like mindset, personal development, disc golf, cooking.
Well,
so
yeah,
maybe
and
aligning the
Mark,
brand around that.
Yeah, just it was similar like what Douglas said. Douglas was talking about his stuff. I was saying, listen, that's the stuff. Again, your social media vehicles are to give other people insight as to who you are, what you care about, how you spend your time, so that they can understand, are you someone I like? Are you like me? Are you someone that I want to get to know? That's what it is. You guys got to think, I said it at Momentum Builder, think of your personal brand, your social profiles, your website, all of this stuff as a business card. Right? And that you're handing out this business card, except for the cool thing about this business card is it is now better than a business card. It used to just have your email on it. Now it's a business card that says who you are, what you're passionate about, where you came from, what you're trying to accomplish, how you spend your time, the mistakes you've made, that you're human as well. I mean, man, if you could ask Douglas back in the day, if you had a business card that could say that, oh man, these guys back in the 50s would have, 60s, 70s would have been crushing it. And guys, we have that now, but most people just aren't using it effectively.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to know that I know what a buy down is, or that I like ribeyes and whiskey, right?
Exactly.
You're right there with Gino, I'm telling you.
So we got time for one more. Anybody else?
Who else? Rodney had a question.
Yeah. So where are
Really
you
good
posting if
question.
not on social media? So again, guys, marketing is just marketing, social media, all this. It's just ways of getting awareness and attention. That's all it is. So it's no different than doing door knocking or any of that other stuff. It's just the cool thing about social was we are now able to get into somebody's pocket. That's the really cool, unique thing about it. But the principles all stay the same. So Rodney, to your question, where am I posting if I'm not posting on social? You can send out emails, you can send out mail, you can host an event locally and create a stage locally at the local place and talk about something locally. You could team up and collaborate with somebody locally. I mean, in the end, we need to stop getting so obsessed with the delivery methods and start just saying, hey, what do I do to be known as this? What do I have to act like, be like, show up like for people to think this about me? And then start finding places and avenues to place that. Marketing is not as difficult as everyone likes to stress out about.
Well, I like what Mark was talking about. You know, if you start posting what you like, you'll find others that like the same.
100%.
Whether it's golf, whether it's whiskey, whether it's whatever. They're like, I like that dude. That's the person I'm going to call or want to get to know. Like you mentioned, Roland, it's really important that we're finding out that they really need to get to know you. Otherwise, they're not going to refer you. They're not going to think about you. It's totally a different game. And it's taken me a while to figure out that, because we're all figuring that out, honestly, because at first you're like, shoot, if I'm not doing it, I'm the only one not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a trap. And I'm finding that out with my team. And now we're getting more one-on-one. We're getting more direct. Like you mentioned, the 50s was really kind of key because our group, because I have to lead them in biz dev. And now I'm like, you just pick up the phone or you go meet with them. You go and strategize. But Todd Duncan talks about that. He goes, you go to your top 10 referral partners and find out, ask yourself if you know what their goals are.
Right.
Their goals for their children, their goals for their future, their goals for retirement, all those. If you don't, then pity on you. I mean, he literally threw it on our face and just said, if you don't know their goals and what's important to them, then you're just asking for business. You're not asking for a relationship. So we're back to creating relationships again and going deep. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of the direction we're finding is working. We're really trying hard. Our whole crew is going deep with less and getting more personal, and it's really working. It's opening up the doors for us.
I'll say this last thing before I jump and just pay attention to this. Listen, every single one of you is chasing a feeling. We all want the feeling of peace, wholeness, and a sense of legacy. That's why we work. That's why you want money, because you believe money will give you a sense of peace, wholeness, and a sense of legacy. That's why you do all the things that we do is because we believe that when we get those things, it's going to give us those feelings. I'm here to tell you, you get those feelings from doing things that give you those feelings. Not money, not the size of your business, not your followers, not. You get a sense of peace, wholeness, and legacy when you act like somebody who's going to get that. That's all I gotta say. I gotta jump. I got another call. I love you guys all so much.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you, everyone, for being on. Stay connected. Share the app. Let's build our community. Love you guys. Part of the tribe.